guys, Cam here from PhoneDog.com, and we're all different. We all like different devices. We like to use them in different ways, and one of the ways we kind of express our individuality is by the way that we create and organize our apps, or maybe organize our home screens on our devices, whether that's on iOS or Android. Whether it's because you put loads of widgets on, or use a custom launcher, or install some kind of ROM, or whatever you do to your devices, it's going to be slightly different to whatever everyone else is doing. So I wanted to know what you do with your home screens, but I wanted to also show you how I organize mine, why I do it that way, and how it benefits me and my slightly OCD tendencies. So the way I organize my home screens on both Android and iOS is pretty simple, although complicated to actually achieve. In terms of apps and the way I organize their shortcuts, what I'd like to do as much as I can is to color coordinate. So you'll see along my top hand row here, or not top hand, but on the top row here, you'll see that it's mostly blue. You've got Twitter, CloudMagic, Messenger and Facebook. And also on my first home screen, it has to be apps that I use all the time. They have to be my most used apps. So finding ones that coordinate well with each other and finding ones that I use all the time is sort of the challenge here. But a lot of apps use blue, so that's not too difficult. But where I did find the challenge was other colours. So for instance, I've got eBay and the Play Store. I use them a lot. They've got similar colours, so they flank my Hangouts, which is green, and to sort of match, I've got Spotify directly above that, which is also green. Now, what I hate about apps and what I hate about home screen is having too much clutter. So I don't like to have tons of apps on the screen at once. I try to keep it minimal. So you'll see I've only got 2 rows of apps as well as the dock in the bottom here. Now the dock is purely apps that I use all the time, so that's always going to be there. They're not really color coordinated as such. But on my second home screen you'll see I've still only got 2 rows and they are still color coordinated. So I've got a blue row and an orangey red row. All of them are apps that I use all the time. Sunrise is a great calendar app, and that's one that kind of matches in with the red and the orange of all the other apps I use, like Wunderlist, YouTube, apps I use all the time. And what I've got here, it may look like an app icon, but actually that's the Shazam widget. So instead of launching the app and then you having to tag, it automatically starts tagging the music, and the icon is round and matches the sunrise round icon as well. It sort of gives it that symmetry, and I like that. That kind of pleases my slightly obsessive side. I don't like tons of widgets. So on my main home screen I have my time on a widget, the clock widget, and it also has Seattle and New York. Important for me because I do cover American technology and I run T-Mo News, which is or T-Mobile of course is a Seattle based company which is in Pacific time. So I use all those times, they're important to me. On the second screen, just a Google search, and on the third screen, this is just a calendar widget for sunrise. I don't really use that often, but it's handy to see. If I want to see what's coming up, I can just flick and I've got a full screen of all my activities coming up. Now, as for the rest of my apps, they're just all in the app drawer. They can be as messy as they like. They're organized by, they're alphabetized rather. So, I mean, they're easy to find, but I don't use them all the time. And it keeps them away from my main home screen, which is the most important thing here. So as you can see on iOS, I'm pretty much color coordinated as well. But with iOS, it's harder to not be cluttered because the whole screen is generally covered with app icons, which I really don't like. But I try to minimize that. On the main home screen, I have just 4 rows of icons. And again, they're fairly color coordinated. You've got blue on the top, then 2 white rows, and then sort of a messy colourful row because Instagram just throws a spanner in the works. The To-Do app obviously is orangey yellow, which doesn't really match anything, but I need that for controlling my home central heating system. It controls the temperature of the house. And also got Google Plus, obviously Wunderlist. And on the bottom dock, what you'll see is I've got my most used apps, phone messages, camera and settings, all organised into colour. So I've got green half and a grey half. On my next screen, again, I try as much as I can to be color coordinated, but it's difficult when you've got certain apps that you like to use a lot. Only 3 rows on this one. So what I've done here is essentially got like a dark blue, purpley color flanking 2 orange ones on the top row, then a whole row of whites, and then just a multicolored mess on the bottom row, which I'm still not quite happy with, but making do with because I need those apps. And on my third home screen is where I keep everything else in neatly organized folders away from everything else, keeping clutter off my screen as much as possible. So that's how I customize my home screens on iOS and Android. Be sure to leave your comments on the way you do things in the comments section, but also get me on Twitter. I'm at phonedog_cam. You can even send me screenshots if you like. And if I particularly like the way you do it, then I will retweet your picture so that other people can see it. That's if you want to, of course. Again, I'm at phonedog_cam, and I will see you again soon.